guys, I'm here with Mon. Mon, how long have you been a lone dogger for?
I have been a lone dogger for just over 2 years.
Mon is here today because not only has she been a lone dogger for 2 years, but she has had an amazing journey over the last 3 years. Mon has managed to lose 75 kilos in 3 years. And we just wanted to have a little bit of a talk with her today to see whether or not she may be able to give you any helpful tips along the way if you're looking for your own weight loss journey. So, Mon, what's the thing that you think of when you think back 3 years ago?
3 years ago, I was the mother to a very active 11-month-old baby that could not get up and down off the floor. A doctor told me that if I wanted to have any quality of life, I needed to get myself in order. And I knew it for a long time. I'd been very heavy for a very long time, for most of my adult life. So we were talking probably 15, almost 20 years of being morbidly obese. But yeah, just very tired, very lethargic, and very scared. Like, I just didn't know, I didn't want to leave my child in a world that didn't have her mother. So it was really to the point, like, of life or death. Like, I'd done portion control, cut calories, things like that, and I'd walked. That was my first year of my weight loss. And then I kind of got to a point when we met that I had kind of plateaued and I didn't know what to do. I knew, because I was walking so much, like I could knock out 5K and things like that, and I wanted to kind of step it up. And the numbers at that point were a bit blurry for me, and that was one of the first things we did together. Was I was a bit lost on my numbers, and you said to me I'd lost 36k, and you said go pick up 36 kilo kettlebell, and I cried. Like, I was like, wow, like, because you just really I hadn't put that into perspective at all. So now in the shed, when you do pick stuff up, you're kind of like, well, I've already lost that off me. Thank God.
I remember that being such a powerful moment. What's
Yeah.
the one thing that you would say to someone if they were looking at losing weight that they could...
I just think, obviously, like, you've got to find people to help educate you, and that's what Lonedog's really good with, obviously, for our working out and training, but also then we've got that element of nutrition. And I did have, like, I had seen a dietitian through the health service, and I really was a bit lost. They were like, I'll go look it up on Google, or, like, you know, have a look at this book. And, you know, so to try and find people around that are supportive and then are knowledgeable, or, you know, with Lonedog too, we're sharing web pages and just articles and reading and starting to do that. But just to keep on trucking, like, to get in there and to start, and don't give up. Like, you know, all this weight's not going to fall off us in half an hour. It's like, it's going to take a long time. And this is like 3 years and a couple of days that this journey of mine's been going. And some days I'm like, oh, I just want it to be over, which is natural. But then I think to myself too, if I'd done it really quick, and I know people that have done it really quick, but they've regained their weight. And I just think that I have slugged, I've bled, I've cried, I've done so much. It's going to take a lot to, you know, there may be a creep here or there, but, like, you know, we'd be talking like 1 to 2 kilos. We're not talking like, you know, some people in my world that I've talked to have, you know, put back on, you know, we're talking 70, 100 kilos, and that just blows my mind. So I'm really thankful that, like, you know, I've got a circle of people around me, as well as just fellow lone doggers. There's so many smart people that just like a chat too, and we talk about stuff and learn about stuff from one another. So yeah, I was scared. I was like, you know, I've got a really busy job and I've got a lot of responsibility, and I kind of really focused on that, and obviously I'm a mum, but, you know, looking back, I was scared. Like, I was the sorry girl. Like, I used to do something wrong and I'd be like, sorry, and you'd be like, stop it. You know, stop saying sorry. And occasionally it does catch me every once in a while. I did say sorry the other day because I was a bit sick and I wasn't feeling well, and I said to somebody else in the shed, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this. But I was mindful of that then, and I kind of thought, no, and they said to me, don't say sorry. And I'm one person now that if I see somebody and randomly in a hallway or something and they're in my road and they're like, sorry, I'm like, don't say sorry. Like, you know,
Nothing to be sorry about.
So yeah, so it is being really mindful, and that confidence and drive is very different in me now. And I remember you said to me once, you're like, I think you're going to be strong. And, like, you know, and I didn't believe it, and I didn't know if I would or not, but, you know, I'm starting to get there. I reckon I'm there.
Starting to believe it?
Yeah.
That's good.
It's honest to God, and it's taken me, you know, a long time to ever admit that to somebody. Shannon was probably the first person I ever admitted that to, other than, you know, talking to my husband and stuff. But yeah, just to be really mindful of where I was and looking back on where I was 3 years ago and 75 kilos ago, it's a lot of weight. Like, to pick it up now, I did deadlifting a minute ago, and I picked up 80 kilos, and it's heavy. Like, it's heavy.
The scales haven't been moving. It's usually moving because something else has been changing in your body, which has been kind of cool to watch as well.
Yeah. It sucks though. I'll tell you, I'm bloody honest there. So, but yeah, but it's still kind of, I think it's one of those things that you get on a scale and you be disappointed or whatever, but just don't blow it out. Like, and that's the thing. Like, we were hoping tonight I'd get on the scale and I'd hit a little milestone that I'm hunting at the second, and I've been hunting it for ages. Because it's only 74 on those scales and I'm 75 at home on what I've lost and stuff. And and that cracks me, like, through. And I'll be honest and stuff, like, and I'm just going to put it out there, it puts me under 100 kilos. I'm sitting on 101 kilos right now, people, and it sucks. So, and then do the maths. So 175 kilos is my top weight. It's bloody heavy. So, and I don't share that with a lot of people. My number, I always share how much I've lost, but not my top number. And obviously, once I crack my hunch, it'll be out there pretty much for the whole world. We walk in the shed, with our food and our hydration and how we're moving and how we've slept. But the emotion's a big thing, a very big thing. And I think, I can have a really dark day, and depending on work and kid and all of that stuff, can be very dark. But it is trying to, like, think about it, like, to pull it back into line, that, and to be really mindful of what you're up to and what you're doing, and to own it. Like, there's no point just ignoring it. I ignored it for 20 years. Like, I just didn't take any note of it. Like, I knew it was there, but I never, like, just owned it. I never got on a scale. I went for, nearly 20 years without knowing how heavy I was. I was heavy, but, I didn't know how heavy I was. I was too scared to know the number. Yeah. But to know the number, then you've got that, right, okay, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this?
Well, that's exactly right. So, once you know where you are, then you can control the factors that are going. If you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you don't know how you're going to get there. At least then you can put things in place where you can start moving along in the right direction.
And it's not going to be a quick thing. It's in no way is it going to be a quick thing. Like, we've discussed it in the past, and I've had it, like, sitting on my shoulders as a burden that just because you've got one flat tire doesn't mean you go slash the other three. It's self-sabotage that sometimes, you have a moment of weakness and you eat the packet of chips, or you have the packet of M&Ms or whatever, and then you just think, well, what does it matter if I just do that else, and what does it matter, and it doesn't really matter. And I think that it's about, like, just thinking, well, yeah, okay, I did it, but that doesn't mean I just got to keep going. And I think personally for me, just that cycle and the tumble into junk food and stuff is really hard to get out of. So do it, own it, move on. So that'd be mine. It's just about, in the end, we are not a number. Like, and that's a big thing. Like, the number, all right, I want to be down to this particular point by whatever date. And, I'm giving myself just over a year more. I'm hoping that I'll be at goal weight by that stage in another year. This year of the weight loss has been really slow on the numbers, but looking at myself in pictures and doing flashbacks the way that I do in my pictures, like, has a huge change. Like, so there is a lot of things going on. So whilst you can be disheartened that the scale doesn't move a huge amount, when you look back on reality of 75 kilos across 3 years, that's a big number, really. But to me, I'm like, it's not enough. I want it to be more.
And again, that can come down to focus too, because you've been looking at that for so long. So it doesn't feel like, when you say it to someone, they're like, wow.
Yeah. And I think too, like, if you're hunting a smaller number, sometimes it's easier to either get to, or you can break it into smaller numbers. Whereas because I had such a big path that I was heading towards, I've just worked in fives. So I work in fives all the time. So when I hit a 75 or I hit a 70, they're my yay. Like, it's another 5 away.
So one of the things Mon does is every time she hits one of her little challenges, she usually sets herself a little target that she gets to have along the way. So I think you've done...
I've flown a helicopter.
Yeah, you've gone to
we do
concert?
some Foo Fighters trips and stuff like that. I'm still, my 70 kilos was to climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge, but I just haven't been to Sydney. That's a plan with a girlfriend, and I'm gonna cut my hair when I do
once the hunch comes along.
And for anybody that knows me with my hair out, it's like tailbone kind of down there. So Yeah, and I could cut it to get my 100, but I'm not gonna. I seriously, I've threatened it for so long that I'm not gonna cut my hair to do it, so.
So, for those of you that want to have a look at some of Mon's photos, what's your Instagram account?
Mon_means_it. So Mon means it. Yeah.
So you can go and have a look at some of her flashbacks because they're absolutely amazing to look at. Thank you so much for coming in.
No
and
worries.
you're amazing
Yeah.
for doing everything that you've done. We're
Yeah.
so proud of you and we
Oh,
can't
thank
wait
you.
to see what's coming up.